You'll never guess what I've been and done again. I only bought another bike. God, unbelievable. And if you can't tell by the markings on the side, it's a GSXS 1000F. Fully faired, sit up because I'm a granddad. Hooligan machine. Picked it up yesterday, which was Friday the 15th of January. Well, I didn't pick it up, it was delivered and they collected. Can you guess what bike I've got rid of? Not the GSX, but that is going up for sale, unfortunately. Yes, I've got rid of the V-Strom. Oh, and it's all standard 19 plate, standard exhaust, which has got quite a nice hum to it. I've ridden it for about 12 minutes so far, so let's stick at least another 12 minutes on that. It's lovely manoeuvring it. He says right, let's put that in neutral. The brake lever ain't bad. It's got a bit of an adjustment on it. I think you can see it there. Just a turny wheel. It's not the most brilliant of adjustments the Suzuki never have, but for some reason the clutch hasn't got an adjuster at all, and I like to do 2-finger lever manoeuvres, and you've got to do 4 fingers and put it right back to the bar on this. I will adjust the cable out. I've just been out on the GSX, so I just got used to the clutch on that. Yeah, as I say, I've just been out on the GSX and got used to the clutch on that, and now instead of doing 2 fingers I've got 4. But yes, the reasoning behind the whole decision, the 2014 plate V-Strom that I had developed electrical problems, kept on stalling at low revs, especially when you cut the throttle and went to reinitiate the throttle. Where's he going? It used to cut out, and it caught me out a few times, once of which, or was it twice, at least once of which I dropped the bike. It cut out, stalled, I wasn't ready for it, wasn't alerted ready for it, and it cut out, left me indicator on the way down there, brilliant, and I dropped it. So there was a recall on that, and they put in a whole new wiring harness and a new ECU, which, there's fucking right there, look. Don't care, do you? Wrong colour to care. So yes, it cut out and I dropped it, and it went back on the recall, and they put in a whole new wiring harness and a new ECU, and it pretty much stopped the problem. But I'd lost trust of it by then. So I traded it in and got a 69 plate V-Strom 1000, which I've had for 10 months, and it's developed a cough. Again, when you cut the throttle and go back on the throttle, it coughs. It's not cutting out, but it coughs, which again, if you're doing a junction or a roundabout and you get a little bit caught out, the bike really wants to flop because obviously the power's gone, which again has been fairly unnerving. The other side of it is I've missed my booster, having all that power, and the V-Strom, although fairly powerful and a nice little torque curve, wasn't enough. These pegs are slippery. Why are these pegs slippery? Wasn't enough. So again, that was another nail in its coffin. And then what else did we have? Didn't trust the tyres. Again, I could change the tyres, but why? Yeah, I could change the tyres, and especially in the wet, I really didn't trust it, and I still didn't have a look at what tyres were on it, but really didn't trust it at all. And I've had a few moments recently where I've had slippage. So that was another nail in the coffin. So all that, and then there was a bit of a rattle developing on the top end, probably where I used to abuse it, but it was all too much. And recently someone found a listing for my old GSX 1250 FA, well, Bandit, fully faired Bandit, and that got me thinking how lovely it was having a full fairing and a proper sort of sports tourer. So the obvious choice when you want a faired bike with more grunt and not V-twin, I think I've lost trust for V-twins. What are you doing? Yeah, I think I've lost trust for V-twins, so I've gone back to a straight 4, fully faired. It's by no means perfect, but for the well, probably 14 minutes I've ridden it now, it's beautifully smooth. The seating position is glorious. It's, if you own a Bandit, this sits you up more than the Bandit. It really is a lovely, comfortable position to be in. Not so sure about this front screen. It's not the best in the world, and the fairing isn't the biggest in the world, but it should give me more protection over my body than the V-Strom ever did, which is what I was looking for. And the screen sort of blows all the wind into my neck and head, so I have got an adapter that could go on that screen extender, but it's not tinted, which wouldn't look right, but worth a try to start with. So yeah, I was doing speeds of a sensible adult on a motorbike that he's just got, and his mental age is only 3. And last night, and yeah, as I say, it was getting me in the face, getting me in my helmet. Ooh, drafty. So that'll possibly have to be addressed. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't dirty wind, as they like to call it. It wasn't turbulent or making my head bounce all over the place. It was fairly calm, but like being on a naked, but just my head. So yes, perfectly livable, gorgeous, and it's had its first service. It's done 400 miles, well, 406 miles. So they've done its first service early, instead of me messing about, especially with it being COVID and lockdown and Christ knows what else. So yeah, it's had its first service, so I'm allowed to take it to, I think in the book it said 8,600 revs, and vary your gears as well. But again, it's a Suzuki. I love my Suzukis, and this is by no means going to be any different. Once I get my shorty levers to go on it, shorty levers, I've got a rack coming so I can put my top box on it. Might make people cry and scream. I need it as a commuter, so it's got to be functional in that respect. So I'm not one for carrying a rucksack around. Don't like it. Don't like it. The less I'm wearing, the better. Ooh, Mrs. So the rack will go on, making it a lot more functional for me. But there you go, there's just a quick video, and I know it will be a few weeks before you see this, and there'll probably be a fleet of videos after this of bits I'm doing to it. I'm not doing the normal, I'm not getting rid of the rear fender, what's it called, tail. I'm not getting the tail tidy. There you go, that's the official way of saying it, isn't it? I'm not getting the tail tidy because I did that on my GSXS 750, and when you're out on days like today you end up with a big line all the way up your back and over your head, and as it's going to be ridden all year round in all weathers, I don't want that. I want to minimise the splattering up my back. Excellent. So yes, the tail won't be going. What have I got coming? I've got the rack. I need the adapter plate so I can get my monolock top boxes on it. I've got shorty levers coming. That should be next week. Yeah, shorty levers, they're coming, and then I'll have an adjustment on there, and it will be two finger again, which I really love. What else? I've bought other stuff. Oh, frame sliders and nice bit of indicating. Frame sliders and engine sliders, engine casing protection. Not the usual. The frame sliders are my usual R&G, but the casing sliders aren't. So that might be quite interesting. So it sits at about, let's get it up there, 70 mile an hour is about 4.5 to 5 grand. We'll call it 4 3/4, 4,750 revs, which it does sound, and it's probably because I'm not used to the exhaust, it does sound like it needs another gear. And 8,600 revs, which is all I'm allowed to do, 8,600 revs in top gear, apparently, I don't know where I found this on Google, is 122 miles an hour, just for information's sake. Yes, I'm really not going to chance that. Let's get over here, go back over the flyover and sort of home before it starts peeing hard. Yeah, the growl from the exhaust is really misleading. It's making me believe I'm doing a lot more revs than I'm actually doing, which is something I've got to get used to, which is surprising because it's a stock can, whereas I didn't get this much heartbeat sound out of my V-Strom with the Black Widow on it. You really had to be revving the V-Strom, or accelerating, should I say, to get a growl out of it. And the induction noise, as everyone has said, is hypnotic. It's addictive. It's not going to help my miles per gallon, that's for sure. And the mirrors give quite a good view back. The right hand one gives me a little bit too much elbow. But no, it's quite a clear view behind. It's phenomenal. Already it's phenomenal. I've got the heated grips fitted. That was part of the deal. If you want to know specifics, I sold my V-Strom for, what was it, 6,750, something like that, 6,750. I really wanted 7 for it. I paid 8 for it nearly a year ago, and he couldn't go any more on my bike. Well, he couldn't go any more on the deal. This was 8 grand. So I got him to fit heated grips, which saved me the grief, which is always nice. Which at their present costings for Oxford heated grips, it would have probably cost about 150 quid to get them supplied and fitted, perhaps even a bit more than that. So with the heated grips, I sort of got somewhere near the figure I was looking at, so I could swallow a little bit of loss. And this one will be kept in the shed. There you go, there's my first real pleasure ride on my GSXS 1000F. And I'm probably being a little bit biased here, being that I own it, love it and bought it, but it's fucking fantastic. Ain't ya? Gorgeous. I wish I'd have done the twin lights though. Another thing Suzuki should have done, both lights on together. Just looks like you've got a light out, but I don't have to look at the front. I have to look at the cockpit where the cock sits. Hello. Anyway, that's enough from me. Ta-ra.